before going into the topic, we asked a question in the last video, that is, after extraction what happens to the periodontium below? And the answer is, the periodontium will be lost and there will be no periodontium after the extraction of the tooth. So getting back to the topic, today's topic is cerebellum. The cerebellum is the largest part of the hindbrain and the second largest part of the brain as a whole. And it weighs about 150 grams and located in the posterior cranial fossa underneath the tentorium cerebelli. And it is behind the pons and medulla oblongata, where it is separated from the pons and medulla oblongata by the cavity of the fourth ventricle. The surface is indented by numerous slit-like sulci called fissures, and between fissures lies more or less parallel folds called folia. And the cerebellum consists of two hemispheres, and these hemispheres are attached to the midline called vernus. And this cerebellum is connected to the three main parts of the midbrain by three pairs of large fiber tracts called cerebellar peduncles. The three basic functions of cerebellum are maintenance of equilibrium, regulation of muscle tone, coordination of somatic muscle activity. And the disease of cerebella is manifested by muscle disturbances that include inability to stand upright, hypotonia, and failure of coordination. External features of cerebellum, where the cerebellum consists of two main hemispheres called cerebellar hemispheres, and they are attached to the midline portion called vermis, and the vermis is separated as superior vermis and inferior vermis, where the ridge-like superior vermis is continuous with the superior part of the cerebellar hemispheres, and the inferior portion of the vermis is clearly demarcated from the hemispheres. And the external features of cerebella is separated as three parts, two surfaces, two notches, and three main fissures. The two surfaces are superior surface and inferior surface, where the superior surface of the cerebellum is convex and it is continuous with the two hemispheres, and the inferior surface present with a median notch called valleculae, which separates the two hemispheres, and the floor of the valleculae is formed by the inferior vermis, and it is limited on each side by the sulcus valleculae. Notches. The anterior aspect of cerebellum is marked by a wide, shallow notch called anterior cerebellar notch, which accommodates pons and medulla, and the posterior cerebellar notch, which is deep and narrow, which lodges the fork cerebelli. Fissures. The horizontal fissure, that is, it runs along the lateral and posterior margin of the cerebellum, and it marks the junction between the superior and the inferior surface of the cerebellum. And the posterolateral fissure, where this lies in the inferior surface of the cerebellum and separates the flocculonodular lobe from the rest of the cerebellum. The V-shaped fissura prima on the superior surface of cerebellum cuts the vermis at the junction of anterior 2/3 and the posterior 1/3, and it divides the corpus cerebelli into anterior and posterior lobes. Subdivisions of cerebellum. Anatomical subdivision, in which anatomically the cerebellum is divided into three parts, that is anterior, posterior and flocculonodular, where the anterior lobe lies in the superior surface in front of the fissura prima, posterior lobe where it lies between the fissura prima on the superior surface and the posterolateral fissure on the inferior surface, and the flocculonodular lobe which lies in the inferior surface in front of the posterolateral fissure. Morphological subdivisions. Based on the phylogenetic and functional criteria, the cerebellum is divided into three: archicerebellum, paleocerebellum and neocerebellum. Archicerebellum, phylogenetically it is the oldest part of the cerebellum and consists of flocculonodular lobe and lingula, and it is concerned with the equilibrium, tone and posture of the trunk muscle. Paleocerebellum, where phylogenetically it is the next part of cerebellum to appear, and it consists of anterior lobe and pyramid and uvula of inferior vermis, and it is concerned about the posture and tone of the limbs. Neocerebellum, where it is the most recent part of the cerebellum to develop, and it consists of middle lobe, that is the largest part of the cerebellum, and it is concerned with the smooth performance of skilled voluntary movements. Internal structure. The cerebellum is made up of a thin surface layer of grey matter called the cerebral cortex and the central core of white matter, and a mass of grey matter embedded on the central core of white matter called the intercerebellar nuclei. Structures of the cerebellar cortex, where the cerebellar cortex is uniform throughout and it consists of three distinct layers called outer molecular layer, intermediate Purkinje cell layer and inner granular layer. Molecular layer, which consists of numerous numbers of dendritic urbanization of Purkinje cells and relatively few nerve cells which are widely spaced, and the nerve cells are bucket cells and stellate cells. Purkinje cell layer, which consists of single layer of large flask shaped cells called Purkinje cells. Granular layer, which consists of numerous closely packed small granule cells, and it also consists of few large Golgi cells. So the intrinsic neurons of cerebral cortex are granule cells, bucket cells, stellate cells, Purkinje cells and Golgi cells. Intracerebellar nucleus, where they are nothing but the mass of grey matter embedded on the white matter of the cerebrum, where they are 4 in number, and they are dentate nucleus, emboliform nucleus, globose nucleus and fastigial nucleus. Dentate nucleus, where it is the prominent nucleus of the intercerebellar nucleus, and it is the largest of primitives, especially in the humans, and it is the nucleus of neocerebellum. Therefore, it receives afferent fibers from it. The emboliform nucleus, which is oval in shape and situated medial to the dentate nucleus, and it is the nucleus of paleocerebellum. Therefore, it receives afferent fibers from it. Globus nucleus is a round nucleus which lies between emboliform and fastigial nucleus, and it has similar connections to that of emboliform nucleus, and sometimes globus and emboliform nucleus together are referred to as nucleus interpositus. The fastigial nucleus, which lies near the midline in the vermis and close to the roof of the fourth ventricle, and it is the nucleus of archicerebellum, and it receives the afferent fibers from the flocculonodular lobe, cerebellar peduncle, where the afferent and efferent fibers of cerebellum are grouped together on each side as three large bundles of fibers called cerebellar peduncle, and the three bundles are superior peduncle, inferior peduncle, and the middle peduncle. Arterial supply to the cerebellum. The cerebellum is supplied by three pairs of cerebellar artery. They are superior cerebellar artery, anterior inferior cerebellar artery, posterior inferior cerebellar artery. If you want me to discuss any other topic, please leave it in the comment box, and do like the video and share the video, and do subscribe for more videos.